Don't forget, what goes around comes around. A message for those Palmeiras fans who think it's already over and everything, and especially for the Vasco fans, right, man, wanting to make fun of Flamengo because Paulinho used to play for Vasco and all that, and then you get thrashed by Red Bull Bragantino, right? Then Flamengo also got thrashed by Red Bull Bragantino. Then Flamengo lost to Palmeiras. There's a difference. There's a difference between losing, but still fighting for the title, being up there and just losing, and being down here, look, right at the edge of relegation. That's how you guys are. Are you trying to talk shit, man? You want to talk shit even with underwear full of crap. Oh my God, man. Vasco loses 3-0, and they're basically on the same points there. Just 2 points more than Santos, who's in the relegation zone, right? And they could possibly get out too. It's a team that has a chance to get out. There's Mirassol there too, who could get out. Look, Mirassol. Mirassol has played 16 games. They have 1 game in hand. There's Chapecoense. They're way down there. They play against Palmeiras, and that team is already as good as relegated. But man, then there's also Remo. They've played 17 games too. Now even Santos and Mirassol there could pass Vasco, huh? Man, the ghosts of relegation is here. And you guys trying to mess with Flamengo. That's a joke, right? Well, we have a lot of serious things to talk about here. A lot to talk about, including aggression and intimidation, right? On the Jovem Pan live stream with Pilhado. And that's when Ebota, man, said to be a friend of Carrascal, right? The guy proclaimed himself a friend of Carrascal and attacked a fan during Thiago Asmar's live stream. We're also going to talk here about Flamengo's signings, information brought by Sharp, who was attacked, and we're going to talk about the huge absurdity that was Davi Oliveira Lacerda's refereeing. The officiating was practically prearranged. Let's put it that way, right? I don't believe in what he reported in the match report. There's no evidence. And this has already been happening before the round, right? It's worth remembering that the STJD charged Flamengo for aggression incidents that happened, man. From the stadium, they were ridiculed, had to withdraw the complaint. Flamengo was completely acquitted in that situation because Flamengo has no responsibility outside the stadium. But they weren't going to stop. It was obvious they weren't going to stop there, right? And we're also going to keep bringing up this situation about the possibility, right, of Carrascal having a party and everything else. Yeah, for me, that's not the worst part. Carrascal has already given Flamengo enough reason to move him on. Flamengo already has enough reason to move him on. Hey guys, greetings Flamengo fans. This is Flamengo. Welcome to the Paparazzo Rubro Negro channel. If you're just arriving, I invite you to follow, like, and share on all platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on notifications by clicking the bell, and leave a like on the video. I want to invite you, right? We're here thanks to the sponsorship of Caravana do Haroldo. Invite you to make sure you're present at the World Cup, Champions League, and all Flamengo games with Caravana do Haroldo. Haroldo, great service, man. Everyone is really grateful for the service from the caravan. Yeah, it's awesome. It's sensational. Also, just a reminder that we have our sports betting channel here. We haven't started working on it yet. We're inviting you to check it out. We're going to start doing some great work. We'll have fantastic tips, and you won't regret visiting our channel. So I'll leave the QR code here on the screen and also the link in the description, pinned comment. And do you want to lose weight in a healthy way? Medical supervision, everything, right? And man, also making sure that there won't be any hair loss, okay? On the contrary, my hair you who followed me here saw how it was before. My hair grew a lot with the Mais Cabello treatment. Exomace treatment, there's also a discount for the Exomace treatment here. Use the coupon MICE10 and get the MICE Slim weight loss treatment with MICE Cabello. There's always a MICE Cabello near you, everywhere in Brazil. Let's go. Yeah, I'm going to start right away by talking about this whole situation with Jorge Carrascal, right? About Flamengo's attacking midfielder who was sent off. Yeah. I'm not going to say it was unfair. For what he did, it was fair, but there was a foul that Mr. Davi Oliveira Lacerda failed to call the foul on Pedro at the start of the play just before, seconds before. Then it wouldn't have happened, but he's irresponsible just the same. Yeah, Carrascal was irresponsible just the same. To sum up, yeah, we have everything he's already done. 3 red cards this year, right? More than goals. So it's a situation that already shows he's a flashy player. He's really a complicated player, right? I'm shy. Yeah, that's right. And Carrascal, the red and black fans went all the way to the gate of Carrascal's condo complex. And the footage went viral. Risa Simplicio and several other journalists posted it too. Oh, look, footage. And then people showing that there were girls arriving for the party, a party that can't be proven to be Carrascal's. Flamengo's press office says it's not Carrascal's. Come on, for God's sake, right? Nobody's stupid. It's his birthday. It would be his birthday. We won't say for sure, but people were at the door, right? Look at that. Guys, at Carrascal's door, okay? Wait. Fans at the entrance to the condo complex and recording there the arrival of the women and everything else, right? Yeah, Coringa posted this one here and also this one, look. People from the crew there, right? I got these videos too. The crew was watching the women arrive, right? From the condo there in Santa Monica where the party would be happening. Yeah, and that's it. That's it. There was no confusion. Nothing happened. They just went there and nothing happened. There's no footage of Carrascal, just the guests arriving and everything else. Here's the thing. If there really was a party, and let Flamengo try to find that out, let Flamengo's board investigate this. The Flamengo board should already be looking to negotiate the player's transfer. Because the thing is, you don't need to tell the public what's going on, but you can investigate. Because commitment is everything. Professionalism is key. The player must be an athlete. I've said this before. I pointed out his mistakes and praised him when he performed well. A player has to be an athlete. Is that right? And that's not being an athlete. Okay? If you're really doing all that, you have to leave. And to top it off, we had another thing come up, right? Which was on the Jovenpan live stream with Thiago Asmar. He was criticizing Jorge Carrascal, and in the middle of the criticism, he heard a fan who was bashing Carrascal. And then a guy claiming to be Carrascal's friend attacked and shoved him. The guy who was criticizing the forward. The scene was clumsy, surreal, a live on-air assault, right? Intimidation directed at Thiago Asmar and the fan who was criticizing Carrascal. Let's take a look at the footage here. Check this out.
Why would you yell so much? This player's outrageous behavior. Carrascal doesn't cut it anymore, man.
Look over there. Look there.
What about my party? What is this cake for me, my friend? This one is yours. But I need to criticize.
Azaltu. Azaltu. Let's see it again. Let's see it again. No, Thiago is fantastic. Azalteu. Azalteu.
That you were going to scream so much because of this player's mistake. Carrascal can't do it anymore, man. There, he gets himself sent off. He is the match. What? Dear friend, this is Azaltu Cake.
My friend, he's a good guy.
Come on!
Think you're special today? You're at Flamengo, man.
If I want to, I'll criticize. I'm wrong. If I want to, I'll criticize, but the last thing I need is to be afraid of a man. Yeah. It never happened during the match. Then me's little friend tells me I can't criticize. That's all I needed. Just what I needed.
Then there's also this. We can't judge Carrascal for that. Now it's those little friends who get tickets and all that. They start defending him just because they got a Maracanã ticket in a VIP box. Carrascal can't do that, obviously, right? See, being judged for what his buddy who gets the ticket does. Now, if that's even true. But right now, things are really bad for him. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. That's crazy, right? But to be fair, Azul Plata was like that too. He turned things around. But I think that Carrascal, the problem with Carrascal is that he's giving away decisive games, right? Important games, right? Like in the Supercopa now against Palmeiras. Getting sent off in games like that is just crazy, man. 3 this year, fewer goals than red cards. Yeah, I think that goes along with a bunch of other things, and things really get ugly.
I'm afraid of men. That's never gonna happen. Carrascal is a showboater. Carrascal isn't direct enough. Carrascal offers 20 milhões de euros no Carrascal. Eu vendo por
It comes from today. It comes from today. If they offer 6 million, 5 million, it comes from today. It comes from today. We have it. Look at that. Rafael from Rivalry Flasco, right? Yeah, he posted something here that's also really funny for us to show here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this.
Palmeiras fans treating a 3-3 after being up 3-0 with one more player since the 16th minute as if it was the end of the dominance. After 9 years without beating us in the Brazilian league, they set off fireworks because they managed to win by playing not to lose.
But they should set off fireworks. That's normal. They won. They won the derby. It's a derby. They won. Yeah. They have to celebrate. Now, wanting to say that Flamengo kept being their same old whipping boy, man. They won the game. They won the game with one more player, but they have to celebrate, man.
Less than 75 minutes with a man advantage. And well, the excitement is even understandable because a built-up trauma weighs a lot. But Flamengo's memory against Palmeiras is kind of cruel, right? In 2019, there was that 3-0 at Maracanã. In the same year, 2019, at Allianz Parque, 3-1, that 3-0.
You remember they were throwing seats onto the field, desperate because of Gabigol's celebration, right? And without stepping on the badge, without criticizing, without mocking them or doing the shush. I'm all for staying silent, but Gabigol didn't have to do anything to mess with them. He just did, you know? He threw the seat onto the field. That's wild, right? Definitely memorable. It was 3-1.
3-1 also at Allianz Parque. And at Maracanã in 2023, 3-0. And that's not even counting the fourth title. Over, you guys.
A lot of pleasure from
Making Palmeiras runner-up twice in the same year. And the funniest detail.
And last year, you're forgetting, we were Brazilian champions. We beat them at their home at Allianz, and we beat them at Maracanã. We won both games. And we eliminated them in the Copa do Brasil too. Yeah, in 2024 when we were champions.
And in those games, it was 11 against 11, so go ahead and celebrate a lot. Because after almost a decade of getting beaten, any victory really becomes a historic event. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people forgot, right? That Copa do Brasil, to top it off, besides the title, after that one in 2020, along with Andreas' mistake, Flamengo knocked out Palmeiras, won several games against Palmeiras, won 3-0 in 2023, and eliminated them from the Copa do Brasil to later become champions too, right? So yeah, that's important to talk about that. And if we're going to talk about it, Flamengo relegated Palmeiras, right? With the former player curse with Wagner Love. So yeah, they were South American champions again too, besides the Libertadores final. There was the 1999 Mercosur at Parque Antarctica, which was their stadium, right? Gudule, Lei's goal. They're always our usual victims. They're traumatized and need to joke around, just like Vasco fans who mocked Paulinho's goal, but then lost 3-0 to Bragantino. Yeah, that's normal. That's expected, right? Now, to wrap up this video, we need to talk about the issue of Davi Oliveira Lacerda's officiating, right? And the narratives that are in the match report, right? It's impressive. You mentioned the threat in the match report, but do you have any proof? You were threatened by a guy who said you wouldn't leave here alive, right? It's him reporting it in the match report, trying to screw Flamengo over, right? Because we've already had the STJD charging Flamengo for something unbelievable, unlikely, something surreal, right? Blaming Flamengo for a fight outside the stadium doesn't make sense. It wasn't even within the perimeter. Then that fell apart. Now they want other narratives, right? During halftime, he was approached by the masseur, right, Fernando Munhoz, and received a not so friendly message. What does it say? During halftime, while the refereeing team was heading to the locker room, we were approached in the mixed zone by Mr. Fernando Munhoz, who was not on the roster but was wearing the same uniform as Flamengo's coaching staff, saying the following words to me: "Do you think you're right? Today you won't leave here alive." Man, so it's going to be his narrative, his word against Flamengo's, right? But let's see what the STJD will want to hear. Because it's unbelievable. The referee, a guy who's already come, right? Clearly, who has all these numbers in favor of Palmeiras, right? Of mistakes in favor of Palmeiras. He has already harmed Flamengo several times. Then he comes, writes whatever he wants in the match report, says without proof that the masseur did this, that he was wearing Flamengo's clothes, but he's not even on the roster. So what? Do you want to harm Flamengo? Is that it? Creating a narrative to harm Flamengo? What evidence shows this happened? I want to know what proof the referee has for this claim. There's no footage, there's nothing, there's no assault, there's nothing. What are you going to say? Right? Then to top it off, he goes and says, thrown objects. They're trying everything, pay attention. They're trying in every way to punish Flamengo with the loss of hosting rights. They really want to hand the championship to Palmeiras. They want to make sure there's no chance, right? If Flamengo wins their postponed game, they'll trail Palmeiras by 4 points. Okay? There's still a head-to-head match. For example, they could catch up to Palmeiras without it, but that game is still ahead. Right? Flamengo will want to have their little revenge within the championship. Flamengo has that match coming up. And all it takes is a slip from Palmeiras, a draw, even just a draw, and Flamengo can catch up. Is that right? And then he put this clearly in the match report so they can try to punish Flamengo. I report that after the third goal by Palmeiras, objects were thrown onto the field, cups containing liquids. He even makes a point of mentioning cups containing liquids. Don't even put that. It's just a cup. Don't even put it. They threw a cup, he insists. Cup containing liquid. Objects thrown from the side where the home fans were. In other words, he even tries to point out that it's the home fans' side. Yeah, I got in touch with Flamengo here. They say the footage isn't very clear, but the police, identified fans causing trouble, making a scene, and sent them to Gakrin G-Crim. So Flamengo states that the fans were referred to G-Crim. So they were identified and referred. That's it. Security handled everything at the stadium. So there's no point in creating this narrative. It's no use. You guys are going to try. I know you're going to try every way to punish Flamengo at the STJD. We already know that. We already know it was on the same day even that the CBF released a statement attacking Flamengo, right? We've already noticed what's happening. It's clear what's going on. But we can't let this bullshit happen. That's it. I invite you to follow, like, and share here on the platforms. If you're on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe down below, turn on notifications, and don't forget to leave a like. Take care, take care. João Bruno Negras, this is Flamengo. Thanks.